What are the lies or limiting beliefs that you tell yourself? Do you secretly say to yourself, I'll never find the right partner? I'll be alone forever. I'm never going to be able to afford that house. So why am I saving my money for this? I'll never be financially secure. Everyone hates me. Maybe they should. We speak to ourselves terribly. And it's something that society has impressed upon us for hundreds of years, especially women, especially minorities. But, unless you're reincarnated in the enlightenment of Gandhi, we all do this. So maybe we can find a little bit of solace in that. If you were to say to me right now, oh, I've never said anything bad about myself. I mean, you'd be a complete and utter liar. We've all had those moments with ourselves where we just aren't being real. Like I could even say right now, I'm putting this filter on because maybe it makes me feel more comfortable, or maybe it's just fun. But the good news is it's a learned behavior, and that can be unlearned. That's the magic of it. So what is your current mindset right now? Like really think about it. What are the thoughts that are in your head constantly on a loop? And tonight, what we're going to do is deep dive into all of those things. So get your questions ready, because we are about to be joined live from Atlanta by Kelley Chase. She's a mindset coach and one of the stars of the Netflix show that was a massive hit, Love is Blind. I lost my mind over that show. And when I found out she was a coach, I was like, yep, she needs to come on the show. So please welcome Kelley Chase to Quarantine But Cute. I'm going to let her in right now. Let us know where you guys are. And here we go.
Yay!
We did it, girl.
Yay! I love it. Your eyes look so pretty, by the way. I was like mesmerized as you were talking.
Oh, well, it's the Christine Quinn filter. Like, let's be real.
Love it. I'm like, should I do that too?
No, you look fantastic. And actually, I'm going to join you in my realness and take off the filter.
I love it.
But welcome to Quarantine But Cute. For anybody who doesn't know who the heck I am, but you know who Kelley Chase is, my name is Lauren Aparicio. I am an actor, host, former chef, entrepreneur. I do a lot of things. And the whole point of creating the show was to connect with people like you so we don't lose our minds in COVID, which I know a lot of us have in a lot of ways. But we've also reinvented ourselves. And your whole philosophy of rejection to redemption is massive right now, because all of us, including myself, as an actor, I've had to completely pivot, like pivot, friend style with the couch pivot. What am I going to do? What the hell am I going to do? And I've always been kind of a positive person, but I've had limiting beliefs. I've definitely told myself that if I wasn't a certain weight, or I didn't look a certain way, or I didn't, wear certain things, that whatever group I was trying to fit into wasn't going to accept me. And therefore I was never accepting myself. So I want to talk to you. We'll talk about the show, because I know a ton of people are going to want to talk about that too. But really, I'm so interested in the work that you're doing as a mindset coach, because we need people like you in the world right now, guiding people when we're all just kind of like, ugh, what's next? We're sitting here holding on going, what am I supposed to do? I'm great at all these things, but where's the opportunity? So let's talk about that for a minute. Where is the opportunity in all of this madness to move forward and really be our best light for ourselves and for our families and friends?
Yeah. I mean, obviously there are a couple of things. So I'm a mindset coach in the online space. I think, and maybe I'm biased because I've just been doing this work for so long, I just feel like anything could be turned into an something. Online course, you can sell a program, product, or service online. And so,
Right.
I literally had someone come to me who may have had like a brick and mortar type of situation, right? And she was just like, I've been doing it for 30 years. I'm like bored now. Like I'm tired of it. And I was like, have you ever thought about teaching people how to run a brick and mortar business, being like a business coach, but selling or just being an investor in your business? Like you just walk away so you don't have to like be there every single day, that kind of thing. And now you can teach people what you did to make yourself successful. Granted, if you don't have that success, or maybe you've lost your job, you're unemployed, you've been furloughed, something like that, it's what else am I passionate about? What are all the skills, knowledge, education, expertise that I have? What is the challenge that I've overcome that I could help someone else out with? And creating, you could even do like a 4-lesson course. Sell it for $50. That's $50 more than you had in your bank account yesterday. Like there's so many different things that you can get creative with in the online space, and showing up, sharing your knowledge, your gift, and it's a gift. Everything that you hold inside of you is such a gift that people need. But the thing is, like, as far as why I'm not just like I'm a business and mindset coach, but why I'm not just a business coach is because the mindset is the most powerful thing. There are going to be those limiting beliefs, the fears, the stories that are holding us back, being like, okay, well, that's great, I have a lot of ideas, but like I'm scared. Like, what if people don't think what I'm talking about is cool? Or like, what if I create this program, product, or service and like nobody likes it, nobody buys it? Like, those are all limiting beliefs. Like, and so you're already blocking that energy from even happening. You're already blocking the flow. So I
100%.
help women.
I think for people, and thank you for saying that, because, I am pretty self-aware and I've done a lot of my own work through therapy, which I advocate for everyone, whether
Totally.
you're going through something or not. I wish, if I had one wish for the world, I'd give everyone free therapy for the rest of their lives. I just feel like that is something so lacking in our culture, as in humanity, but specifically in the United States. So
Totally.
when people say, okay, well, Kelley, that sounds like really great, I would love to start charging people for things. There's a lot of people who have a really messed up relationship with money. I did for years, and people are afraid to ask for what they're worth, especially women. So can we talk about that for a minute? Because I know that you talk about rejection to redemption, and I know that is also an abundance thing as well.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I mean, and everything that I talk about, it's stuff that I have learned. It's because I've learned because it's personal to me. Like, I've overcome these things myself. Like, I heard my entire life, we can't afford that. That's too expensive. Money grows on, or, money doesn't grow on trees, that kind of thing. And it's like constantly, as you're hearing this as a child, what I came to learn, and no blame on my parents, because this is just how they were programmed as well. But it immediately strips a child's worth. Like, oh, I'm not worthy of having that. And it's not to say like, oh yeah, you need to go and buy your child all the things. No, no, no. There's just a way to reword it so it sounds better and it doesn't sound disempowering to the child or the adult even.
So that's a great point, because growing up, my mom always made everything very abundant, but
Mhm.
she did that with credit cards. She was a single mom. She, was a teacher. She did not have a ton of money, but she had great credit. And so
Yeah.
all of our trips and all of the things that we were able to do, even though she didn't make a ton of money, were so amazing. So I always felt abundant. I always felt like, oh, I'll always figure it out. And, she was a warrior, but,
Yeah.
but she always would say to me, it's always going to work out. And that's like the one really positive thing that struck me growing up, even though I've had my own debt and I've had my own issues with money that I've come to terms with now. And I feel more positive about money and abundance is coming now with my new business.
Yeah.
All those things are great, but how do we break through that pattern? Because like anything, it can be unlearned. And these are patterns, these are habits, these are learned behaviors from our family. So how do you work with people to sort of break that down? Because in a way, you're like a therapist too. I mean, you're an unofficial therapist, but when
Right.
you're coaching, you've got to be able to read people and go, okay, what are you really saying to me that you're not really saying right now?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Questions. I ask a lot of questions. And one of the exercises that I have my clients do, not necessarily, sometimes we do it on the call together, or it's like a homework assignment, as I call it. But I ask them, go through your money stories. Like, this could be three sentences long. This could be 4 pages long. Write down anything and everything that you can associate with what you have heard, seen, what you believe, what you have grown to know
Yeah.
about money, wealth, rich people, poor people, anything, success, even. What does it mean to you? What did you hear around about wealthy people growing up? How, like, what are your thoughts? Like and then I ask them like, what do you desire in life? And they're like, oh, I want to have like a really nice house and I want to drive a really nice car
Right.
and I want to, and I also want to like give back to charities and, build a school in Africa, like all these things, right? Well, these things do cost more money.
Right.
But then we take a look at their beliefs, their stories, and we define, okay, well, but you think that rich people are really snobby and they only do bad things with their money.
Yeah.
But you want to build a school in Africa. So how are you going to have a lot of money and do that? Because aren't you going to be a bad person too?
Yeah. There's a lot of hypocrisy, as we know, and we
Yeah.
see, especially through COVID, with people being Karens and masks and everything. I mean, it is so deep. And, I feel like if we were specifically to be talking right now to somebody who is just starting a business, which seems like a risk in the middle of
Yeah.
COVID, to be able to put any money towards something that seems super, like, that's what I did. I mean, I had a little bit of anxiety around it, but I also really believed in what I was doing. So
Totally.
what do you say to like those people who are going, okay, I have everything's running out, my unemployment, my sanity, I've got to feed my family, I have these other talents, I need to build a business, but I have to put money forward to do that. I mean, how do you coach people in that way?
Yeah.
Because huge things that people are dealing with right now, and they're very real.
Yeah, for sure. So, my thing is, if someone wants to, let's say they're like, oh, I want to start this business, but it's like a brick and mortar, so obvious, but there's not, I don't know, brick and mortar. I'm saying as far as just it's life was as normal, I guess, too. But if you wanted to do like a brick and mortar store, well, yeah, you're gonna have to invest in like the rent or buying the space or whatever. Okay, maybe right now that's not the best avenue for you. And
Right.
like we said at the beginning, you always figure out how to pivot. If something's not working, transition, pivot, change the scope. So, okay, maybe that's not the avenue you go right now. So maybe it is the online space. I have ran things for free for a year because
Wow.
I got myself into a financial situation in 2019 and I am still coming out of it. So I am not about to like go rack up a bunch of credit card debt again. Like absolutely not. I don't have a credit card and I have not had a credit card in a year. I've been paying off my credit card debt for the
Good for
last
you,
year.
girl. Good for
Yeah.
you.
So I have found the avenues. Like of course, yes, I want all the bells and whistles of things, but I'm not financially aligned for that, then I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So Facebook, free. Instagram, free. MailChimp, Zoom, free platforms. Yeah, maybe you can't have like a gajillion bells and whistles, features and everything, but you can still use the basic plans for all of these platforms and launch a business, launch a course. I use Zoom. I think like the free basic plan is like, I
40
think you get
minutes.
like 40 minutes.
Yeah, I
Right.
use it for my business. Yeah.
So do 20, 30-minute, 15, 5-minute videos, coaching people, educating them. That's all you gotta do.
Someone said success is not always the thing you originally pictured. And that is so true, you
So
guys.
true.
I'm going to give a very quick testimony because a lot of people are just coming to my page right now because of
Yeah.
so thank you for that abundance.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
also shining light on me. I appreciate that. I started this show simply out of just wanting to connect with people because I knew I'm A-type personality. Can't you guys tell? I'm A-type. I like to get shit done. And I also like to be productive in a healthy way. So this show like went from me just like playing around on these lives to like, look, I've got Kelley Chase on the show now. And it's like, that was 9 months though of hard ass work. Not got paid for this. I still don't get paid for it. I get people send me stuff. That's awesome. And I'm so grateful for those things. And shout out to everybody that has given me so much love. But really the bigger thing here was like, I'm helping people and I'm helping myself from not going down the deep end of depression and feeling sorry for myself. And like what Beyonce, I think I've said this on my show before, like she did her, one of her, reality movies or something she was in, or a documentary. I can't even talk, reality movie.
I'm the same.
God, I'm turning into my mother every day. She like makes up words for shit. But Beyonce says like, I give myself one day to feel sorry for myself and then I move on. And I'm like, yes, bitch. And you have to do? What are we? I secretly want to be a gay black man. I'm sorry. I can't. I like cannot. I'm from the South too. What do you want from me? Um. Anyway, so I'm like work. But no, like I am so happy I've had this platform, and I think like no one told me to do it. You guys, you got to do what's in your heart, and you have to do what calls to you. And people have been telling me for years, create your own content. Oh my God, you're such a salesman. You would be an amazing lawyer. You would be great at this. And it's like, that's so nice to hear. But until you trust yourself, believe in yourself, and are ready to do something for you, for your not financial abundance, for your love abundance, for your health abundance, like nothing that Kelley and I are going to say are going to help, because it's like quitting smoking.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to be the one that's like, I'm ready for change. This life is short. F the bullshit. Let's get on the train. So people are high becoming inner self. Love that name. So when clients come to you and they are like super type A and they are like, no, it's this way and this is how I've always done it. Well, obviously it's not that way if they're coming to you. So how do you help navigate people who have been successful in business, but they still keep hitting like roadblocks?
Yeah. This is my favorite thing to talk about, and favorite thing that I'm still learning a lot about, because I mean, we're forever students regardless.
100%.
But before I get to that, I do want to say this back to what you were just saying. Trusting yourself and you taking that initiative, you taking the steps, it's really connecting with like the goals, like your purpose and your why. So like, what is my purpose? What is my why? Like, why all the time. But then also your goals. A lot of us think of our goals as like, our SMART goals that we learned in high school or whatever. It's like, oh, write out your SMART goals. I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what the acronym meant, because that's how much I didn't care about the SMART goals in high school, right?
Girl,
Like,
I barely graduated from high school, so yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. So, but when my coach, when she was working with me, she brought this up, and then she was like, Kelley, so as a person in general, not just an entrepreneur, like a person, you want to act in the be, do, have. So ask yourself, who do I want to be? What do I want to become? So
Beyonce and rich.
Exactly. And a gay black man.
I'm insane. Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, you ask yourself, who do I want to be? What do I want to become? And then you ask yourself, what do I need to do in order to become that person?
Right.
And then what do I want to have? As you do the things to become the person, you will have what you want in life. But you have to take the inspired actions to do, and it's all in alignment. You have to act in alignment with who you want to be.
So let me ask you this. As a coach, this is something like I'm 37, you guys. I'm very proud of my age and I look great. So I'll just go ahead and put that out. So do you, girl. I've had to really cut out a lot of people in the last year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and you can answer for yourself, but you've got to encourage to really, I made the decision to just be around people who were productive, who were positive, who were not going to be like, oh, you're doing the Kangen water business now. Oh, you're an actor now. Weren't you doing production behind the scenes? I'm like, bitch, I'm everything. Have you not met me? Like, you are not going to define who I am. I'm going to define who I am. But it still takes a toll on you. And you still think like, oh God, am I doing too much? Am I doing this right? Am I being annoying? I have to sell myself as an actor. I have to sell myself as an entrepreneur and a business person. And so especially women, we feel a lot of guilt because we have to work so hard, so much harder than men and certain groups of people to really like prove ourselves. So not to mention minorities and Black women, like, my God, like, behold the Black woman. I mean, my God, can you imagine if our country was ruled by a bunch of powerful Black women? Hell yes.
Yeah.
We would be getting shit done.
We would.
But, I mean, I just like, that's a whole other conversation. But it's just like, I just want everybody to be abundant. I want myself to be abundant. I don't want to constantly be looking at my bank account anymore.
Totally.
I don't want to keep like backtracking. I mean, we're all going to have our bad days, even on my business page where I'm showing all these lovely things, like, and I'm growing my business and having people follow my journey. I mean, I'm going to have to at some point be like, yeah, I had a bad day today, because otherwise it's really fake to people and you want to be as authentic as possible. So how do you bring people to the light because they trust you as their coach and as their teacher, to just be like, all right, let's just really get real, because it's not easy for everybody to just like be as open as maybe I am or you are with their emotions and what they really want. So what is your sort of way to help everybody out?
Help them do that. I always, use the term, I'm holding a safe space for you,
Yeah.
because I do want them to feel safe. And obviously, if they have agreed to work like one-on-one with me, I am going to be asking questions that I know you don't have to answer, but I promise you are going to heal. Because what coaching is, it's not just about growing your business or growing your mindset, it is healing you.
Yeah.
100% is a healing modality. And because if you picture an onion, you're peeling back the onion layer. So it's like, oh, there's this like level of fear. Well, we're going to just like peel back that level of fear. Well, guess what? That next level version you, there's another level of fear. And you're like, oh shit. But it's just, okay, well, where's that fear coming from? What is, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are you trying to hold on to? What are the limiting beliefs that are keep popping up? And to go back to your question earlier, like kind of like with the control, a lot of us women, men too, but all right, long story short, we live in a very masculine energy dominated society. Pretty much every company is run by a man, and or it is run by a highly masculine energy female. It is the go, 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 the do, do, do. You have to do this. You got to be doing this. You should be doing this. Oh, she's doing that. I need to be doing that. I should probably be
Oh,
doing
I was
that
the high
constantly.
masculine female owning shit for years. And at the end of the day, like, that just drains your energy.
It's
Like,
exhausting.
there has to be a balance. By the way, someone's watching from Costa Rica, Pura Vida. I'm moving there eventually. My favorite place on earth. Hold on. We have a question.
Okay. Yay for questions.
Um, well, maybe it's a statement. Everyone should love themselves the way they are. Sure, of course they should. But I
Sold.
think, and that's a great, beautiful idea. And I wish we were all born that way, but we are not. And society and subconscious things. Like, for example, Brazil, oh my God, fala português. All my people, all your people. I love Brazil. Um, I miss traveling, can you tell? Don't you miss traveling, Cal?
I love it. I know. I miss traveling. I go to the park to travel. I'm like outdoors.
Me too, girl. Me too. But yeah, like I remember like kind of a crazy story. When I was a kid, I was in kindergarten and I went to like Kittredge or something, and they did like a kindergarten graduation. And I wanted to stand up there and say that when I grow up, you had to say what you wanted to be. I wanted to say I want to be a singer. That's what I wanted my whole life. Still. And
Still.
and I gave up on that dream. And you know why I think it is? I will never forget. I don't know who did this, but someone whispered in my ear at 6 years old and told me what to say. So I got up on the podium and I said, I'm Lauren. And when I grow up, I want to be the dean of a college. A 6 year old did not come up with that. Someone whispered in my ear and told me that. And I think that was the beginning. And I'm literally realizing this now as I'm speaking to you. I
Yeah.
think that was the beginning of this limiting belief that like I couldn't be a singer and I couldn't be an actor and I wasn't going to be able to do anything regardless of my white privilege. I passed up a lot of opportunities for myself
Yeah.
because of this belief thinking that I was never going to be good enough.
Yep, it's so true. Everybody has a deep-rooted story
Yep.
or multiple deep-rooted stories that hold them back from things in life. And you're not necessarily aware of it until someone helps facilitate that growth and that healing. Like if I were to ask you, where is that coming from? Like I feel like you are emotionally intelligent. So that's how you were able to do that.
Yeah, that
There's
was crazy.
some people that don't.
I thought of that.
Like we don't think like we're not taught to be emotionally intelligent unless you fall into it and you start learning. Like I didn't even know like how to really like I didn't know emotional intelligence was like even a thing. So it's like as I started to tap in and like do a lot of self-love work and read a bunch of personal development books, my emotional intelligence started to grow. And for anyone who doesn't know what that means either, it is your self-awareness.
Yeah.
Period. Self-awareness, how you can handle situations, how you respond versus react. And literally it's having conversations with yourself all day, every day. Yeah, you might feel like you sound crazy, but you don't. Like you can heal yourself with your own questioning too. Like it's bringing so much awareness. It's like, okay, well, what are my money beliefs? What happened to me when
Yeah.
I was younger that created this? Like it's literally active questioning for yourself to help you. Like, and that's what I'm such a big advocate of journaling, because don't just like have the thoughts going on up here. It's gonna drive you mad. So then get them down on paper. Exactly. And you journal out your thoughts and let them out.
Y'all
Let
would
it
need
go.
a few drinks to read this.
Like, what
But I said y'all would need a few drinks to read this, but it's also like writing things down, I truly believe is a very real place for things to really manifest
yes, it is.
in life, because it's a physical action towards making something a reality. And something else I've had to tell myself, and you guys, I have to do this like a psycho
Yeah.
to myself every day. I have to say, abundance is not coming, abundance is here.
Yeah, it
My
is.
my partner is here.
Yes.
I used to think self-help and all that shit was so crazy when I was
I
in
me
my,
too.
I was like, who's gonna read that? And then
Yeah.
I remember seeing, oh God, Elizabeth Gilbert, Eat, Love, Pray. Eat, Pray,
Mhm.
Love.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. How did I ruin that? Elizabeth Gilbert, if you're watching, I'm sorry, Queen. But so I remember watching that being like, oh man, I'm not as found as I thought I was.
No.
And I know it's a movie with Julia Roberts and it's a book, but that book really like turned
Yeah.
some things onto me. And also The Alchemist, if you haven't read it, it's like 90 pages, read it. But really, when we come back to all of this, mindset begins with the willingness to want to be more aware, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what was your like aha moment before Love is Blind? Like, what were you doing before all of this?
Yeah. So, my spiritual awakening, as I like to call it, happened more so in like literally this time 3 years ago. So 2017, July of 2017, I left my last corporate job.
Okay.
I had, another like part-time thing coming in, so I was able to pay my bills. I wasn't like jumping ship and being too risky, but I was trying to do health coaching, or I was growing my health coaching business, and I had like this fitness app that I was a part of, so I was maintaining whatever, and I was like, I just need to go like on a solo trip. So I flew to Denver for I think 12 days. It was in the middle of September, and I went hiking by myself in Vail. I went to the Red Rocks a couple times. I drove to like where Boulder, Colorado by myself. I did a lot of things by myself, and it's profound when you're by yourself and you're like sitting with your thoughts. Like I was sitting, I hiked to the top of like one of the Vail slopes, and I was just sitting there and just looking. Like I could see all around me, and just like, okay, there literally is abundance all around me.
Literally.
Abundance of air. There's like everything. And so I started after that point, after I got back from my trip. I honestly think maybe the first book that I read was The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty positive.
I didn't read it, but I did it. I'm not
Yeah.
a good reader, y'all. I do Audible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good. And I think it's because like a friend that I was working with at that last corporate job, I think he had bought it for his wife, and I was like, oh, what is this book about? So anyways, I started reading it. Literally, I still fold my clothes the way that she teaches the method in the book. To this day, 3 years later, still fold my clothes that way. I pack my suitcases that way. I get rid of shit. I'm more of a minimalist now. And when you
I know.
minimalize, when you declutter your physical space, you start to declutter this space too.
Totally. I've always been a minimalist because I was a gypsy forever.
Mm.
I didn't even own and I don't even mean like in the cool, I'm so like manifested way. Like, I mean, I was like, okay, I'm constantly hustling and I'm exhausted and I know I'm talented, but I don't know exactly where I should put all my energy. I am a multi hyphenated individual, which we will be having a show about with my good girlfriend, L'Oreal McCullum, in November. To all my multi hyphenated individuals out there, including Kelley, big up to you, because that is an amazing thing to be. And being born in 83, growing up, being someone that had a ton of different hobbies and went in a bunch of different directions, I was looked down upon all the time. Why don't you get a corporate job? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And it's like, no, dude, I'm going to do everything because this is my life. And
Right.
now it's cool to be multi hyphenate. But let me tell you, I was a trailblazer
Yeah.
and I still am. And I'm proud of that. And with the gypsy shit, that was like me just not being able to commit to dealing with my emotions, dealing with my abandonment of my father, dealing with the fact that, like, if I settled and got too close to someone, maybe they would run away from me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many issues. And when you start breaking that down, I mean, having a coach is huge.
Yeah.
I have had coaches recently and on the show. We just had a session yesterday, which was
Yeah.
incredible. And I cried.
Mm-hmm.
You got me.
You did. It was beautiful. I
And
loved
I'm
it.
thankful for that,
Yeah.
It's like, sure, people know you from a reality show that is really incredible, actually, but like, I want people to know you. So
Right.
what, like, something that you'd like to share with everybody, and we'll continue the conversation about mindset, but is there
Yeah.
something you'd like to share that you haven't talked about in other interviews? Just maybe a mindset, maybe a belief, maybe a dream. Like, is there something you want to put out in the universe with us today?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, well, two things. It's funny because a lot of people will say, like, oh, I know you did the show, but I'm sure you're like tired of like talking about it and everything. And I would say, like, I'm not tired of talking about the show because the show was literally the catalyst for my deepest awakening.
Okay.
So I love talking about it. It really was like an epic experience. And I learned so much about myself, about communication, about relationships, vulnerability, transparency, all that. And it just, I mean, I hired my first mindset coach a month after the show ended. Like after we got done filming the show, I hired my first mindset coach. So it was
Wow.
profound. Yeah. So that's where I was like, holy shit, this is what I meant to do with my life, not health coaching.
That's how I feel, dude. That's how I feel about my new business, and I feel about this show. Like, I was like, I'm gonna win an Oscar, and I've been in some big films, and I've done some really cool stuff in a very short
Oh,
time, and I'm so grateful for that. But I also just like have always wanted to help people.
yeah. Yeah. And you are.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. And if
Yeah.
the show helps one person call you to get some advice or hit me up to have the best drinking water they could possibly have,
Totally.
for helping people. And if you don't do that, I don't care, because
Right.
I want you to come to me or come to Kelley because it's what you want.
Yes.
And that's the same thing with you finding the oh, someone said, why did you leave Kenny? Sorry. I
I might get irritated with that question. I'm just kidding. It wasn't
oh,
meant to be, and obviously it's worked out for the best.
totally. I mean, you were, I have to say, like, I don't want to say anything bad about anybody because that's not what I'm here to do, because I thought everything was so entertaining, but watching you was like, this girl's really sticking to who she is.
Yeah.
And I think, I know what it's like to be around camera crews, not in a reality setting, but in reality.
Right.
And, some people put on more than others. And I really appreciated that you were just always being who you were. And that was like such a big moment where you're like, and it's the wedding day and I'm not going to do it. Like, did you really have that moment right then and there? Like, were you going to go through with it? And then you're just like, whoa, or like, how does that work?
No. I mean, I think I had already definitely predetermined that I was not going to say yes. I mean, my head and my heart were not connecting. And I was like, I can't, like, something's not right. Like,
Yeah.
I think I could have gotten there, but there were so many things lining up that it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So I just, great man, great man. I,
Oh, yeah.
wish him all the best, respect him, love him, but
Right.
not like that.
But that's okay. And I think
Yeah.
I think this show's magnificent because people had so much stake in it,
Yeah.
because there's not really been a show like that forever that like really just gripped my like heartstrings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it makes you believe in love, and it makes you go, okay, like there is somebody out there for me. And I may find on the show, I may not, but the willingness, again, to be aware, like
Yes.
you said, about what you want and what you need, especially during COVID. Look, I know a lot of you watching are not in the best situations. You may be in a home situation that is not safe. You may not be able to know where your next meal is coming from. But with your mindset, I truly believe, whether you have a coach or not, I would love for you to be able to hire Kelley or talk to somebody. Like, you've just got to start talking about it, I
Yeah,
think.
you do. You do. I think, and I think that that's why, reiterate that you are helping people with this show because like, yeah, you're interviewing, you're holding space for other people to share their story, but I am very aware you share a lot of your story too. And that is every time you share and you meaning all the audience too,
Right.
every time we share our story, vulnerability, get a little bit more vulnerable each time, that is a part of that onion layer that you were peeling back because you're actually talking about it and you may not be aware of it, but you're actually healing from it.
Yes.
That's why therapy, you talk to the therapist because you're actually healing. They may not even be doing anything. They're literally
Exactly.
sitting there listening to you and you're like just talking and talking. And the thing is, like with coaches, like we hold space for people too. Like, yes, we're going to ask questions and whatnot. But that's because we want you to find the answer within because everybody has the answers within. We just have to shift the mindset to know, like you were saying, like abundance is already here. Like
Yeah.
the abundance is already here.
It,
You have the abundance of answers inside of you too. So it's truly knowing, believing, trusting that always, always.
Someone asked me, my agent now, for when all this was happening, he wasn't my agent with the show when I created it. And one day he said to me, Lauren, I know you want to win an Oscar and I know that you like want and you're good and that's great. But like right now, my agency is not hiring theatrical and you already have an agent. He goes, but if you could do anything for the rest of your life and stay in entertainment industry, what would it be? And I immediately answered, no hesitation, I would host this show forever. And he's like, I'm so glad you said that. I'm going to sign you to a contract.
Yay!
And that was like one of the most amazing things, knowing that I created something and someone believed in me because I believed in myself, you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to cry. Like, I thank you, John. Oh, I love you. John is an incredible celebrity magician. He's been on the show. I want him to come back. It's so happy and amazing. And we're both Leos, obviously.
I'm a Leo too.
When's your birthday?
July 23rd. I'm a cusp, baby.
Mine's the 26th. Me and Mick Jagger. But so like it is scary to take the first step, but like what is it? Is it Rumi quote, the only way out is through?
Yeah.
I know it's cheesy, but damn, it is, y'all. It's the onion times a million. I love onions, so
Yeah.
I'll help you peel that onion. I'm like
It's
from
so
1998. I do this.
Yeah.
I
love it.
I'm living in a different time zone. I miss the 90s. Anybody else? Even if
I miss my 90s like R&B.
Oh my God, yes, girl. We're from Atlanta. Hello, TLC. Don't even start it.
Got the Usher and Casey and JoJo.
That's my life. But if anybody has any questions, keep asking. We have another question for Kelley right here. This is great. And this is for so many people, even though I've not been corporate, I understand because a lot of clients are corporate.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when do you know when it's time to leave the corporate world?
Yes.
People are scared. Let's talk about it. Maybe not
this
in general.
Yeah. It's an awesome question. And I'm going to full circle it for you too. So I left the corporate space in 2017 when I knew that there was an income coming in where I was going to be able to pay my bills and support myself. So I was safe. I felt safe taking that leap. But I also had accrued some savings too. So I was like, okay, like I have a buffer, even if I don't get, like, my mindset was just make your health coaching thrive. Like you're going to be successful with your health coaching and that is that. But in the event that, like my parents more or less were like, okay, well, Kelley, like in 3 months, maybe you can only live off of your savings for a few months and then start looking for a corporate job again, like start looking for a job again. And I'm like, okay. But with that being said, I feel like, yes, you do have to have some safety net or knowing and trusting. If you haven't done your money belief, like money mindset work, don't jump ship because you're going to experience, or you could experience, a lot of financial struggles that can create depression and anxiety, and that is no place to live. And I'm raising
Right.
my hand because I got there. After I actually left the part-time job that I was getting the payment for. I left that company not having, like, my coaching business was kind of like in this limbo spot where I was transitioning from health coaching to the business and mindset coaching. So my
Right.
entire audience was like, wait, she ain't talking about nutrition and fitness anymore. What is she talking about? So it was very not the best timing to, like, lose a job and not have any clients. So I had zero
Totally.
money and about 20 something thousand dollars in debt at this point.
Fuck.
So another coaching friend of mine, she said this in a video one time, I'll never forget it. She goes, you will always have a money monkey on your back if you just like, yes, you believe and you trust wholeheartedly that your business is going to thrive, but you also have this, like, subconscious thing going, yeah, but you're broke and you have $20,000 in debt, and you're broke and your parents keep yelling at you that you need to support yourself or you're going to be homeless, or, like, all the fears and stories and everything starts popping up. And it's like, you just want to, like, tune out the noise, but you can't. You can't, because you know you're drowning. You're drowning.
Raise your hand in the chat if that has happened to you, no matter what age.
Any age, yeah.
But
And
age
I want to say this too. So last June, so it's been over a year now, because my business, I had transitioned, I had pivoted in my business to be more in alignment with who I was becoming. Like I said, the Be Do Have. I wasn't trying to people please and just be this health coach and stay in that, because that was dimming my light. That was, like, sucking the life out of me. So I had to make that transition. But in the meantime, like I said, I got financially depressed. Like, literally did not want to get out of the bed, wasn't working out. Like, I got sad. Yeah, I got really, really upset. And then I kind of felt like a failure, because I was like, my business isn't, well, I don't even have a client. Like, it was not thriving at all.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, Kelley, you have to get a job. We can't support you. Plus, you're 30 something years old. Like,
Right.
get your shit together, kind of thing. And I did. I actually got back into the 9 to 5 space. And I got back into it. I don't even like to use that expression. I like to say I invested in my future by taking that position. I created an opportunity for myself so that this money monkey wasn't on my back holding me down. And now I've just been able to create an investment in my business and in my happiness. Like, I'm so much happier because I can actually pay my bills and actually, like, afford to go out to eat with my friends every once in a blue moon. You know? So again, if it's not working for you, although you really want something, you have to pivot. And what that person said earlier about the success, sometimes it's not exactly how we painted the picture.
So
That's
true.
okay.
Yeah.
A lot of times we get stuck in the behavior of impatience, and we just want it, and we want it now. Well, we have to be patient and trust that the universe is going to provide in the way that it's in the way and the how and when it's supposed to.
But for people who, and I feel that, and thank you for all of that, because that just felt like a really fun sermon that I am here for. And I appreciate you and your energy. But I also, like, I come from a place of major manifestation. My last name, Aparicio, means apparition or manifestation. I told you, I found out about that a few years ago, but I've been talking about manifestation before it was cool. Like, to be like, manifesting your life is how you create abundance. Like, that's not what I'm here to serve. I'm not here to serve you some fake bullshit manifestation speech. But what I can tell you is your mindset, like what Kelley is saying, that is what you have to work on first. Yeah. Manifestation will come once your mindset changes. Yes. And that doesn't mean you have to all of a sudden become a yoga teacher and go to Bali. Like, that's not what we're talking about here. And I want to be very clear, because besides the fact that we're two white girls that are privileged, like, I feel like the opportunities that have come for us are effortless in a lot of ways. And we don't have to work as hard as our other counterparts and our minority friends. And we are very blessed to have the experiences that we have. But when you choose to be more self-aware, if you believe in the devil, I mean, I don't know what anyone believes in, the devil, the bad energy, all that shit starts coming at you. And all those fears start going like this in your head. I can't do it. And so someone said, do you think trusting is good as having no net? And I'm going to tell you right now that people will buy what you're selling when it's real.
Yeah.
How do you think Gary Vee and Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins and freaking Julia Childs. Like, I'm just throwing out names
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela. They're not sitting there because they want money in their bank account. They're sitting there because they had something to say, something to teach, something to do. So what's your voice? What do you have to say? Stop
Yes.
being afraid, because when you're on your fucking deathbed, you're going to be pissed as shit that you didn't go for it.
Right.
You
Exactly.
are.
Exactly. And there's another thing too, to answer this question as well. Like, yes, if you're not in a place, like I said, to like financially make investments, do you know how many free resources there are? Like I said, the things that I've run some of my programs over the last few months or the last year have all been free platforms. Outside of that, growing your self-awareness, educating yourself on business strategy, on marketing, whatever. There are so many free resources out there, but you have to ask yourself, who do I want to be? What do I want to become? And what is one of those inspired actions is actually investing your time and energy. If you don't have the money, invest your time and your energy. Spend an hour, spend 5 minutes a day watching an hour marketing video. Do the things that is going to change your life. We are a forever student. If you are the smartest person in the room, you need to go to a different classroom and you need to learn.
I love people say that. I love when people say that, because a lot of coaches say that, and it's really actually one of the realest things I think you can tell people is like, if you're not constantly learning from someone else, like with acting, I always want to be with the best actor that's better than me, because you grow from that. Who doesn't want to grow? Like, I don't want to, if you don't want to grow. I don't want to be your friend. Advice. I want to grow with people who want to grow within themselves, period. It's just like a relationship. It's just like maybe why you didn't feel connected with, let's say, Kenny, and I'm not going to speak for you, but if you can't see yourself growing with that person, whoever that person may be, then it's just not going to turn into an abundant life, period, no matter how great they are.
Right. Exactly. Well, one of you is going to be kind of keeping the other one stuck or playing small. There will be something that happens, or you're like, and I almost feel like I had this conversation earlier today, because I've met people in the past where I'm like, yeah, I could see them being an incredible partner, and I name the things and I'm like, but are they going to hold me back in life because of what they're doing in life? And there's no judgment. It's just, I don't see this person going like this with me. I see them staying here, and I am continuing this trajectory, and nothing is going to stop me. A man, friend, nobody, my parents, nobody is going to stop me. We're going to run into bumps in the road that may take me 10 steps backwards, but I'm going to run 20 steps ahead soon. So, it's, and what you were saying about surrounding yourself. Yes. If you want to level up your life, find that 2018, before we filmed the show, that was the most lonely year of my life. Oh, yeah. The loneliest year of my life. So again, that's kind of like when I started this personal development journey. I had single girlfriends that were my single friends that were going out all the time, drinking, partying, doing all the things. And then I had my friends that were in relationships and getting married. I usually, obviously, because I'm single, I would go out and hang out with my single friends, right? Well, then I started changing my ways. I was staying in on a Friday night to watch free webinars on marketing or business strategy, or how to create an online program, or money mindset. I was constantly, or I was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was reading personal development books. And so I distanced myself from those friends. And then I really didn't hang out with the relationship, my friends that were in relationships or marriage, because I was I'm just in this other place where I would love to have that, but I'm not there yet. So it became lonely because I didn't have the physical friends. And not to say that they abandoned me. It was, we were all in different places in our life. And you really could tell after things started settling down, you really do know who your true friends are, because the ones that are still here are the ones that stuck around.
Lord Jesus, let me tell you, I have a friend that's watching right now, and we've been friends for about 12 years, and I will not name that person. They know who they are, and I love them dearly, like a sister. And we sometimes are like this. Yeah. And we have gone through so many cycles of just I love you, wait, I need space. I love you, wait, I need space. But no matter what, even when I went to other friends of friends that we mutually knew, they were never that person.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens and in relationships. But I will say, when it comes to like a love relationship, I can tell you guys out there, for years, I gave away all my goodness to men that did not deserve it. And I'm not even talking about sexually. I'm talking about how I got men into amazing jobs and then they
Mm-hmm.
took off financially. I was sitting on the sidelines, and I will never do that again unless I'm in a partnership
Right.
where fully equal. And I would feel guilty. I would literally feel like, oh, well, maybe I should do that because then maybe they won't abandon me and maybe they'll love me more. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'll look like the cool person because I'm the cool girlfriend that got my boyfriend into the cool job. And like, when I look back, I remember making those decisions, feeling in my gut that it felt horrible and still doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And that's the difference with experience and age.
Yeah.
And you've really, I would never go back to that place. The
No.
cramps I had in my stomach for the things that I would give up for a man,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, totally.
it was
And it's
horrible.
all, and that's another huge thing about your mindset too, is the boundaries. Like, and the boundaries that we cross in relationships and in our dating world, if we take a wide aerial view, you're doing it in your business too, and how, or in your career, your business. You are doing it. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you don't have boundaries, you don't have boundaries. If
Yeah.
that's not your boundaries, and that is like what we were talking about, like the rejection to redemption. Quit rejecting yourself and redeem yourself. Like that is the underlying thing. You have to find the boundaries. And I was very bad at that. So, that's why I created that like self-love mini course called Rejection to Redemption, is because that is something that I have learned over the last 3 years, is like boundaries. Like boundaries is not like you being mean to someone. That's you honoring the little girl inside of you or little man inside of you who has been neglected and rejected for 10 years, 20 years, 30, 50 years. Like, and you keep
Yeah.
doing it, and you're still, the reason why you're dating the wrong men is because you keep attracting the wrong men, because you're not honing in on yourself still. Like, you have
Yeah.
to change the emotional energy in your body to
Right.
attract different things.
And I also had to, and thank you for saying that, I had to make peace with my exes that I still wanted attention from, even knowing that they had moved on. And I think sometimes, like, everyone says, oh, that's great that you can have a relationship with your ex, but honestly, I have to say, I think that held me back for years in finding love,
Yeah.
because I was always keeping doors open for men that had moved on from me, because I couldn't accept that, like, oh, well, maybe we'll get back together because we have a great relationship still. But what that did was literally shut everything out. So everybody knew out. So recently, I actually messaged an ex and I said, I'm really happy for you and your new relationship. And that was so hard for me to say. And because he had messaged me about Kangen water, and he said, what are all these posts? What are you doing? I want to know about it. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll tell you. But I had to sit there and I had to like make that line known, that I see him in his new relationship, instead of ignoring it and just being like, hey, how are you? As if he hasn't moved on, changed, and evolved.
Right.
I think
Acknowledge.
it's, yeah, I needed to acknowledge, even though he wasn't asking me to. I knew that I needed to acknowledge and lift the blinds and go, I see you in your relationship. I see that you're happy. I'm not trying to get anything out of you. I just want you to know that, like, I'm in a good place. You're in a good place. Let's share this information with each other because it's aligned right now with what he's doing in his health journey. And the Kangen water is aligned in my health journey. And so now we're able to speak and share, but I'm not holding on to him in the way that I was.
Yeah.
And it's really important sometimes to address, and sometimes you don't need to at all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something that I do empower and encourage my clients to do, is to write a letter to someone. Like, let's say if you're harnessing these, just, whether it's frustration, anger, disappointment, sadness, confusion, whatever it is, you're harboring these feelings inside of you. And yeah, you may never say it, you may never send the letter, you may never have another communication with this person. But the thing is that you're getting it off of your chest. You're getting that stress out of your gut, because that, like, it's an energy, like you're literally like bypassing all the time, and you're festering in it, and it pops up in your next relationship, and all the fears and beliefs and stories, all the things. So it's just better to like let
Yeah.
it go and release. And I say, like, write an apology letter. Like, I am sorry for holding this anger towards you. I'm sorry for this. And it releases not all of it at one time, but you may have to do it a little bit, or you may have to like write it out and then read the letter every day until it actually feels good and you actually have released that.
Totally. I have to say, before therapy, because forever I was like, I don't need a therapist. I don't need to do this. Um, I have a lot of reasons for that, but I, for years, had boxes of letters, you guys. I probably still have them somewhere. I'm visiting at my parents' house right now. I had boxes of letters, just like you said, and I never sent them. Like physical handwritten letters, y'all. I'm
Ah,
that old. And now now I have, instead of, also, like, when I we only have a few more minutes left, but I am so grateful for this conversation, you guys. If anybody wants to get a question in before we wrap this up, please do. Kelley's so amazing to be here. But before I found therapy, like I said, I was doing all the letters, and then I was also doing something, and maybe you guys do this too, and I'm going to share this with you, and this is some deep-seated shit. I would do something called the phone tree, is what we call it with my therapist now. And I don't know if I made that up or he did, doesn't even matter. Bobby's been on the show, so I'm very open about my therapist. We're like buddies. Not really, but you know what I mean. There's a line. But anyway, the phone tree, which is where, when something dramatic would happen, I would call everyone and I would talk to everybody on my phone tree about the problem. And you know what that did? That kept the problem in circulation.
yep. Yep.
Now I speak to one person, unless it's a deep, deep friend that, like, it makes sense to be talking about that,
Right.
as opposed to exhausting all of my energy and keeping that negativity alive. You don't want to do that.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's basically like a gossip, and
Yeah.
you're pouring out that like poison basically to like those other people. And it's also a boundary thing too.
Yeah.
So you're like exposing your shit on other people. You're like dumping your shit on other people. And what if they were having a really good day and then you just like drop that and they're like, okay, and it's draining. And
Yeah.
so yeah, you talk with the people that are going to hold space for you to so you can actually heal and kind of bring awareness to how that's really not serving you anymore.
I love it. I love this chat. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, what is the best way so they could have a coaching session? Because I'm assuming you do consultations first.
Yes. Yep, I do. Yeah, so Chase Life with Kelley is my Instagram handle. You can go over there. You can go to my link tree or like my bio in my Instagram. Apply to just like work one-on-one with me, and it'll send you to like an application, and that comes directly to me, and then I personally will email you and set up, what would work best for us as far as a consultation, discovery call, breakthrough session, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, and I have a couple of courses. The Rejection to Redemption self-love mini course. It is amazing.
I love
And I'm
it.
not biased. I am just saying it is amazing because it is amazing. You
Yeah,
love breakthroughs, but that you can do at any time. So that's on there too.
totally. So I'm going to leave you with one last question, and you can leave us with one last thought. But thank you, everybody, for watching Quarantine But
Yeah,
Cute
thank you.
show. If you were on a deserted island and you had water, you had fish, you had shelter, what are the 3 items you would bring, and who are the 3 people from Love Is Blind that you would bring?
Ooh, that's a good. Okay. My initial thing is a toothbrush. I have an obsession. I brush my teeth all the time. Or I guess my toothbrush and my toothpaste. Let's see. So that I would bring a journal with me. So toothbrush, toothpaste, and a journal, and then I like a I'd say like a water bottle, so I
You
can
only,
carry my water in.
you only get 3 items. So toothbrush,
Oh,
toothpaste, journal. What are you going to write with?
that's true. Okay, so my toothpaste. Just kidding.
And then the 3 people from Love Is Blind forever. These are people you're going to live with forever on a deserted island. Go.
Forever. Let's see. I would say Giannina and Damien,
Oh,
and I would say Jessica because she's my friend, and I already know her.
I love. Are they still together, Gia and Nana?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love.
They're lovely people. They are just wonderful, wonderful people.
I love that. Well, Kelley, thank you so much for coming on. I think this gave a lot of people some insight about just like going for it and trusting the universe and manifestation. You guys can manifest money. I promise you, you can. You can
Yeah.
manifest money, manifest good relationships, but start with something small, make a big goal, but start with something attainable, right? And
Yes, yes. I have a money mantra. Do we have a second for me to share it?
yeah,
Okay, so every day I recite this. Every single day I recite this mantra and I write it in my journal. I am happy and grateful for money now that it comes to me in a variety of ways in increasing quantities on a continuous basis.
girl,
Every day.
you text that to me.
Yeah, I will. Every day. That is me manifesting it. And I believe it, I trust it, I know it. It is
Hell
time. And it's profound what will happen. Like, literally, okay, let's say you wrote out something like that or you thought it, and then you walk down the street and there's a penny. Boom, there's abundance right there. Money just came to you. Didn't have to.
I
It
love
could be
it.
a coincidence, but I don't believe in that. So,
I love it. I love it. And then we'll leave on this. What's the loudest fart that's acceptable on a first date? Somebody,
I saw that question. That's hilarious.
somebody, um,
I don't know. I mean, it would probably crack me up though.
oh my God. I don't know if I've ever done that. What's
I
the
don't
worst
think
thing I've
I've
done?
done it on a first date.
You know what the worst thing I've done on a first date was? Talking about an ex to make myself look like I was like so lovable.
Well,
What
I
is
mean,
the worst
I've
thing,
done that
what is
too.
the worst thing you've done on a date? I don't know, but it's annoying to talk about your exes when you're like meeting somebody new, regardless of your vibe and how you feel about them. It's kind of shitty.
Right, yeah, yeah. I know I kind of did that recently, but the guy was definitely holding space for the conversation. Like he kind of asked about it. So,
Okay, that's
what?
different.
Yeah, it
But
was different. But I found myself getting a little like carried away and I was like okay, I need to like not take it down a notch. It
you're,
probably sounds like I'm still in love.
you're
So
like, wow, really holding space for me to express everything.
I know. I was like, sorry.
Like,
What is the worst thing that I've done on a date? I don't even know.
or happened to you. Like,
Mm.
okay, while you're thinking about it, I'll tell you guys something. I was on a date like a year ago in Brooklyn because I live in Brooklyn, and I had just gotten there. I ordered a drink. I noticed that my friends were in the booth, like right next to me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm on a date. He's about to be here. They're like, oh my God, cool. Like, maybe come over and say hi. So the guy sits down, he orders a drink. We're talking. I'm kind of already almost ready for my second drink because I was waiting for him. And I was like, oh yeah, hey, my friends are in the corner. Do you want to say hi? And he goes, no. So this guy was saying that he didn't want to say hello to my friends who were like 10 feet away from us. And then he was judging me on how fast I was drinking. And I
Yeah.
was like, bitch, this isn't going to work out. And you do not look like your photo anyway. Bye.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah. I would probably, I mean, not to, yeah. I've had not like a catfish situation. I just was not attracted to the person when I did see them in person. I was like,
God, I feel like I have so much dating drama. We have to talk. We have
yeah, no, we definitely do.
to
It's like I'm a very honest person. Like, I mean, I let down guys. I let them down with honesty, but I'm not like, oh no, I'm not attracted to you. It's just, it's not that. It's just like, I don't think that this would work.
You're
Like,
like, get out of my
I
face.
don't ghost guys. I think that's I think that's immature. And I just, I don't feel like that's the way that the world should work. We're supposed to be here for kindness and be vulnerable, be transparent. I don't like this about the situation. So
Yeah.
I don't think that we're in alignment with each other, period.
Well, I'm hoping once we hopefully find a cure and vaccine for this and we're all out and being social again, even if we have to adjust to the new normal, that people will be a little more empathetic, especially just men and women in relationships in general, and not necessarily about like giving people a chance if you're not interested. I mean, if you're not
Yeah.
interested, you're not interested, but just holding space to listen and hear people's stories. Because I've had so many great dates where I did not like the person as far as sexuality,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they had like cool stories. And I mean, that's why I do this show. I want to know everybody's story. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Interesting. Everyone has something to say. So use that voice,
Yes.
take baby steps, take your giant leaps of faith, and the net that someone was speaking of earlier will catch you if it's genuine and you're being authentic, period.
Period. Yes. Yeah. The universe always has your back.
It
No doubt.
does. Thank you so much for being on the show,
Yeah.
Kelley.
Thank you.
It's so great. I'm sure I will run into you hopefully in Atlanta. We can get a social distance coffee.
Yeah, totally.
I have so many masks. You're going to love them. All right, guys.
Okay.
Thanks for joining every Wednesday here on my page, Lauren Aparicio, Quarantine But Cute. We love you guys. Just keep holding space for the people in your life and keep going, man. Keep going.
Absolutely. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.